Hello, hello. Here we are again, coming to you from this time the Paranormal World Show under the umbrella of Broadcast Team Alpha. And we are coming to you from 44 different platforms around the world. And my name is Aage, and I'm the host tonight. And we are also transmitting on the wonderful platform of Conscious Awakening Network. You need to go over there and have a look because they got about 50 different shows on that platform. And they are phenomenal shows of stuff that you and me need to know about. So go and visit them at that is consciousawakeningnetwork.org. And if you want to get a hold of me, just come to broadcastteamalpha.com and send me a message. I'll get it and I'll get back to you. And then while you are on YouTube, that's the place to be because that's the only place we monitor the chat room. The other platforms, they don't either give us the chance to do that or we just don't have the capability of being at several places at one time. So just YouTube is the best one to be. And then while you are at YouTube, also please subscribe and the super chat is open if you like what you hear tonight. So anyway, I think that will probably do it. I want to talk about something. I want to talk about giants. And no, not basketball players. I want to talk about the real giants of the past, dating back even thousands of years ago, because we know they're there. And they were there because we have the skeletons. We've seen the skeletons for some of them all the way up to a height of 36 feet. That's over 6 meters from. Actually, a lot more. 12, yeah, there you go. And we know there are giants because we have seen newspaper articles on it for well over 100 years here in the United States. They were also writing about when Moses was leaving Egypt. He wrote in some of his writings that he was attacked going across the desert. He was attacked by other races and giants. And these giants, they were 10 to 11 foot tall. And then there was Goliath. Now, Goliath, according to writing, when you translated that from cubits, he came out to about 10.5 foot tall. So, yeah. And the Old Testament, they talk about Og, the king of Bashan. And his bed was 9 cubits long. Now, if you convert that from cubits, that comes to 13.5 foot long bed. And also he is said to be about 12 something foot tall. And that's a little over 5 meters. So yeah, that's a pretty tall guy. And that bed is still available to see in a museum in, I don't speak Arabic, but I'm going to give it a shot. It's a Rabbah in Ammonitus. Yeah. And you can also read about that in the Bible in Deuteronomy 3:11. Go have a look at that. Now, Og was one of the last repayments is what the race was called. That was a race of giants. And again, you can read about that in Genesis 14:13, according to what I have read. So yeah, there is written records of them. And there's quite a bit if you step out and try to have a look. There's a lot of controversy around this. And the newer translations of religious text, they put kind of a cloud on it because, that's what religions do. But the Catholic, they don't really talk much about it, but it seems like they try to confuse it a little bit. But I have a drawing, a picture actually, that will explain this a lot better than I can. And I would like to share screen and I'm going to show it to you. So here we go. Right. Okay. Okay, we are here. So here we go. This is there we go. We have a drawing here, and because there are hundreds of newspaper articles showing the giants here in America, the skeletons that date back hundreds and 150 years ago that was discovered. And the Smithsonian Institute got a hold of it and they covered it up. Let's look at this picture a little bit. I'm going to blow it up just a little bit. Here it says, these skeleton figures represent just a few giant human skeletons unearthed and documented in historical records, along with historical accounts of Goliath, who had 3 brothers as big as he was. Og, king of Bashan, whose bed was 13.5 foot long, and Maximus Trax. He was a Caesar of the Roman Empire. So let's look at these skeleton hairs for a moment. You see this little guy all the way to the left? It says that he's 6 foot tall. That's us. All the others are a heck of a lot taller than we are. And here we are, the next one over is 15 foot. That was in southeast Turkey. That was found in the 1850s, a complete skeleton, and it was written about it. The next one over, that is Maximus Trax. He was a Roman emperor from about 235 to 238 AD. He didn't last long. And then we have Goliath at 10 foot 6. And the next one over, 12 foot, that was Og, the king of Bashan. And that's, it says here, you can read about him in Deuteronomy 3:11. And he lived about 1400 BC. But there were written records about him. So that's why we have this. Besides, we have his bed in a museum. And the next one over is 19 foot 6. That is a skeleton that was found in 1577 and written well about it. That's AD. And yeah, that was found under an oak tree in Lucerne. So here there is another skeleton that was found 23 foot long. That was found in 1458 AD, also found in France, and that was found in Valencia. And the next one over, it's getting bigger at all time here, 25 foot 6. That was found in 1613 AD, found in France, and it was found near the castle of Charmont. And there's also extensive writing about that one. And then the last one, though, that's the big one. 36-foot long skeleton. And that was found 650 BC, 640 BC, about that time, found in Cartan. And there were two skeletons that were found, and also another skeleton was found later. So there is lots of evidence. So if somebody asks you, are there really any evidence of skeletons? Yeah, you can tell them there is. Show them this video for one thing and have them research it on their own, and they're going to be amazed. There is also a place where you can go and do a little research. Find a book called The Book of Wonders. It may have been written approximately in 1190. At least that's what Wikipedia says, and there are others say that it was about 1150, but right about that time. And in there's a compilation from all the writings speaking about giants. And then we have something called the German giants. Some of you may have heard about them. They were, let's see here if I can find something that fit the skeleton that they may have. They're said to be 12 foot or more tall. So that's the one right here. And there is a brushed armor sitting in a museum, I believe in Germany, where the armor itself was 800 pounds. That's about 400 kilos. And it was so big that you could put two people in it and they will be able to turn around inside of the brushed armor. This is what they used in battle. And the German giants were used by the Roman army. They put them up front to scare the daylight out of the opponents. When you have 12-foot people coming at you with armor and whatever they used, that could be scary. So they worked with the Roman, but it is said that the Romans quit working with them until, and also the Egyptians, they quit working with the giants in about 100 BC, about that time. And I can understand that because the giants were they were aggressive, they were never wrong, and they were dangerous to be around because their strength, first of all, they didn't really understand it when they dealt with us, and they were very aggressive people. So they were not very easy to work with. And it also says that the Egyptians had worked with them for a long time in their army, which I guess that can be understood. And now when you talk about why don't we know more about this, it's because the Smithsonian has been in the middle of it. And it says that in some of the newspaper articles dating back 100 years, 120 years, they said that, yeah, we found this, and the Smithsonian came and they took the skeleton and said, we are going to keep it in safekeeping so the future generations can get to see this. And then it disappeared, never showed up anywhere. If you go to the Smithsonian, you never see any skeleton of giants, though they have some in the basement, because there is huge basements underneath there. I have a picture on our website, Broadcast Team Alpha, and that is taken of a skull in the basement of the Smithsonian, and there's a man standing next to it, and the skull is probably about 2/3 tall skull compared to the man standing next to it. So that from the bottom to the top of the skull, that probably would be about 4 to 4.5 foot tall skull. Yeah. If you go into the picture gallery on Broadcast Team Alpha, you should be able to find it. It's in there, but you may have to look a little bit because there's 5,000 unbelievable pictures that should not exist, but they do. So go and have a look. Now, I think it was about 2-3 years ago, the Smithsonian were sued. And who sued them was one that had knowledge of a skeleton of a giant. And the Smithsonian denied that they had it. But he knew because he was involved in getting it to them. So he sued them, took it all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Smithsonian lost. And they were ordered by the court to release all information about giants to whoever asked for it. So if you write in a freedom of information, it don't even have to be that. Just ask them and reference the court case. But Freedom of Information Act, you can write to them and say, I want the information on so-and-so giants or all giants skeleton in your possession or above 12 foot tall or something like that. Then narrow it down so they have some criteria to go by. The Smithsonian also admitted in court that they took skeletons, they crushed them, they took them out in the Atlantic Sea, and they dumped it because they had so many of them. Now that's a crime. I don't know what kind of crime it would be, but that's a crime. So I would suggest that you go a little bit of research. Just start Googling it, or I suggest maybe not use Google, use somebody else. Tor is a good one. TOR is a good platform. They don't censor anything, and they keep none of your information. So that would be a good place to start. Start looking into these giants, because the more you look into it, the more interesting it's going to get. So I would say good luck on your journey. And if you like what you heard, please subscribe and click the bell next to it so you can see when the next video comes out. So then I will see you next week. And until then, be good to each other.